YouTube orientation, I wanted to do it vertically and not horizontally, even though that's what I selected. I think it's happy now. I think it's fine. Anyway, so to recap the 3 minutes of the other chat, we are having cornflakes. We are now officially monetized on this channel. My brother, I've recruited him to help me with some of the editing because editing is the hardest part for me to get through. I get 2 hours of respite a week, and that is to do everything. Filming, editing, housework, work for my day job, work for my travel agency. Stuff like that all has to get done in 2 hours a week. Everything else, like anything that I can't do on my phone. I work a lot on my phone as a travel agent. Anyway, so I have recruited him to help with some of the editing. Hopefully this video is now the right way. Anyway, but thank you so much for your support, because if you are here or you're watching the replay, you are the reason we are monetized now. YouTube changed its rules. This channel was monetized back in like 2012, 2013. But then they changed the rules, I think 2018, and took our monetization away because we didn't have enough subscribers, I think was the issue. Because I think you had so many, like 1,000 subscribers and 10,000 views or something like that. And I had the views, but not the subs at the time. So anyway, worked hard this past year to really get this channel doing something, because money makes the world go round. Money is the reason why I can outsource my editing now, because otherwise I'm on my own trying to do all the things, which I was doing. It was harder. So now hopefully, woo, look it go. Hopefully now, I don't know if I want you guys that high, things will be a little bit better. I know I'm behind on vlogs. I know I'm behind on videos. I'm sorry. I'm trying. Single mama, I needed. The fact that I'm spoon feeding my 6-year-old kind of explains that. But yeah, so hopefully now too, like I'm a teacher and we are going back to work, which adds more complications in terms of scheduling stuff. But my respite worker is also a teacher, and so she's been off on vacation too. So very grateful for having the ability to travel and whatnot, but sometimes it makes it hard too. But yeah, thank you guys for your support. Ruth, thank you for sharing your adventures. I love you guys. Like, you guys are so good. And like, I enjoy comments. Please comment on videos, because some of my videos will get like lots of views, but like 0 comments. And I can see retention rates too. So I can see if like a video, people start watching it and then drop off right away. But most of my videos, people will watch, a good chunk of people will watch the entire video and say comment. Maybe that's not on me. I need to have a better call to action to be like, comment about something. But I mean, I'm very casual in the YouTube thing. I've been on YouTube for over a decade, and I've 99% of the time kept it super casual and I try not to do the YouTube thing too much, like, because it's garbage. I don't like it. I prefer to be authentic and myself and just roll with it. We are trying to get better with some things like editing, just because it makes for a better experience for you guys. Also like filming more purposefully. If you watch my vlogs from even the cruises we took last year, we don't film enough, and we don't film enough transitions. So some of my videos end up being like 4 minutes long because we just don't film enough, and not filming enough purposefully, and filming, when we film sometimes we don't talk. So then it's like, well, this is really boring to watch because there's no commentary to it. So we've been trying hard to do better with that, and I hope you see that in the Norway vlogs. The Caribbean vlogs, I'm not so sure I was so great with it. It's harder to do stuff by myself. And that's another reason why I was like, you know what, now that we're monetized, let me pay my brother and have him be part of the channel in terms of editing as well. I don't think he'll do sit-down videos. He can help with editing. And then, oops, sorry, Taylor. Obviously, he helps with filming in the vlogs. So by having 2 people filming, we have double the content. And if I'm dealing with my daughter with something, he can still film stuff. So it makes it a lot easier when the 2 of us travel together, which all future cruises, that's the plan. It was just this one with so Mexico, when I traveled by myself with her, there was no rooms available for 3 people. So my brother could not come. If we had known what we know now about how much we love Princess, we would have booked with Princess. I actually tried to switch it to Princess, but I couldn't switch my flights, and the Princess Cruise was one day later. So it was okay coming in because it was like, I'll just pay for another hotel night. But then it was one day coming back later too, and I'm like, I can't change that flight. So anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, so that was the one that we traveled by ourselves. I have ADHD and I have squirrel brain, and anyway. And then the one I just took was a friend wanted to cruise with us. Keep doing what you're doing. Love it. Thanks, Ruth. The other one that I just did was a cruise that originally one friend wanted to cruise with us, and really wanted to have like a very specific cruise ship she wanted to do. She wanted to do a ship with a baby pool. She wanted to go to Perfect Day, and yada yada. And so another friend wanted to join us on that one. And so what ended up happening was the first friend decided that she wasn't going to go, and then the second friend was going and sharing a room with us because the other friend wasn't going to share a room with us anyway. But it was very much like an itinerary. I was glad to do a Southern Caribbean, but it wasn't something that I would have, like, if it wasn't Royal, I would have canceled it. If it wasn't with a friend, I would have canceled it. I think my friend enjoyed it. She seemed to anyway. It was her first cruise. But in terms of filming stuff, it makes it a little harder because I asked her before we went if she was okay with me filming her or not, and she said no. So I respect that fully. So trying to film around someone that doesn't want to be filmed, and then also trying not to even get her voice in it. I'm sure when I go through to edit it, I'm gonna have some clips with her voice in it because it's just, I'm gonna have nothing otherwise for some stuff. Because it's just one of those things when you're having conversations, when you're talking about something and people talk while you're talking, it happens. So, but yeah, trying to film with someone that doesn't want to be filmed is a challenge. And then on top of that, not having someone else filming, because when my brother films, it's so much easier to have, like I said, double the footage. So I tried hard, but we'll see. We'll see how those vlogs are. And there was stuff that I wish I filmed more, like when we were in Curacao. I feel like I did okay in Curacao filming, but like we did a trolley tour, and I wish I filmed better for it, but Emrys was wild. I have never had her be that, I don't want to say misbehaving, I'm going to say she was misbehaving on this excursion. It was a trolley tour, and the way we were sitting with another family, I had to like wrangle her, and she didn't want to sit on my lap. She didn't want to sit by herself. She wanted to just like lie on the ground, and anyway, I got scratched up really bad. Like this is originally a scratch from her, and then it turned into a pimple. I have scratches all on my arm. She gets aggressive. Not in like a, I'm gonna be, I guess she does be mean, but not in like a vicious, maybe it's vicious. Maybe I'm just fooling myself. But anyway, she'll bite, she'll scratch, and she'll laugh while doing it, which kind of sucks, but she's really stinking cute. Anyway, I wish I could have filmed more on that trolley, but I physically could not do anything with my phone while trying to keep my child from clobbering other people and not falling off the trolley. I think the second part of the trolley ride, she literally just lied on the ground because the family across, like, because there was like across from us and then beside me, was nice enough to allow her to just lie on the ground. I was like, thank God, thank God. So I might have more footage after she lied on the ground, but also I was exhausted by that point. And then Aruba, we went to a resort, and I didn't film a ton in the resort. I filmed a little bit, but then I'm swimming with my child. I can't film. Like my child likes to float, and she requires hands-on at all time. So yeah, I just couldn't film. And then Perfect Day we went swimming as well. So I filmed a little bit of stuff, but not, I don't know. Didn't film as much as I probably would have liked if I thought about it, or if I was more intentional with it. But I am so stinking glad to be done with Royal Caribbean. Can I just say, this summer was amazing. Ooh, I have a princess shirt on right now. My San Juan. I've had this forever, like since 2014 was my first time in San Juan. So, for those that don't know, I'm a travel agent, travel advisor, certified cruise counselor, all those things. And I've been one for a year and a half now. I became one because I was so interested in cruising, and I was working with a travel agent, and they just weren't giving me the service I wanted. And I was like, I'm doing 100% of the work myself. I'm literally just having you take payments, which I could do myself. And then so there's a couple YouTubers that are cruise tubers that are also travel agents. And so I was like, can I do this? So I looked into it years and years ago when I lived in Ontario, but Ontario has a lot stricter rules, which maybe is for the best. But it was like I had to go to college kind of rules. So it was not something that I was going to be able to do. Whereas here in Alberta, it was a lot easier. And so I was like, yeah, let me do this. I'm doing the work anyway, and being a travel agent gives me access to back end stuff, which makes the process to do things by yourself a lot easier, because I can book a lot more stuff by myself than I could as a consumer. And plus I get commissions, I make money, I'm working, right? So anyway, don't know where I was going with that, but but for the last year and a half, I really have struggled with what I want to sell and who I want to sell to. And I would say since until like January, February, I very much struggled with that, because as a travel agent, we are told to sell everything to everyone. You don't turn down potential clients, you don't turn down anything. And I don't know all-inclusives. I don't know like just random hotels in Europe. Like I don't know that stuff. And so it didn't feel right with me. And so I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm going to sell the brands I like. I'm going to sell the things I like. And anyway, long story short, in like January, February, I was asking a question in my travel agency group about like, how do you find new leads that you actually want to work with? And so someone in there recommended this other travel agent who is a rock star. Long story short, this is a travel agent coach, travel advisor coach, and she coaches travel agents how to be badass, how to like be firm with our boundaries, how to take fewer clients and do that very well, how to be great for our clients. And so that's when I started making limitations to what I sold and who I would sell to and that kind of thing. Because as you know, I don't like Carnival. Princess, yes, is Carnival Corporation, but I don't like Carnival. I don't like Norwegian. I don't like certain cruise lines. And it's like, if I will never sail it, why am I selling it? If I don't have experience in it, if I don't really, I mean, the ADHD hyperfocus means I know a lot about a lot of cruise lines, even though I don't sail on them. But like, why would I purposely try to get trained and purposely focus my energy on training and becoming an expert in something that I don't want to sell? Like I have my Carnival expertness, I have my Norwegian expertness. I don't want to sell those lines. And then some lines I don't mind selling, like Celebrity, but their travel agent stuff limits what I can do. I can't book excursions, I can't book hotels, and that's not who I want to be. I want to be all-inclusive. You come to me for your cruise, I book your cruise, your flights, your hotels, your excursions. I book everything that you possibly imagine. I can do it for you. Like I had a client doing Celebrity and she wanted me to help with excursions, and I'm like, Celebrity's not letting me do it. It's not letting me do it. And then talking about pre-cruise hotels, and I'm like, sorry, you have to, like, I can book some stuff, but then like transfers and stuff, like it ends up so much more complicated, and it's just not the service I want to provide. Anyway, so I kind of already had narrowed down what I wanted to sell, but I wasn't quite sure. Like I still was selling Royal because we were cruising with Royal and stuff like that. But this summer was like mind-blowing. So last summer we did Bahamas and Alaska. Bahamas with Royal Caribbean, Alaska with Princess. So two very different cruise lines, two very different experiences in terms of destinations as well. And so that was eye-opening because we realized, me and my brother, that we don't like the warm weather. We don't like it anymore. We are not Caribbean people. Also that Princess is the best cruise line, which we had already kind of leaned that way, but it kind of like solidified it because it was the first time cruising with my daughter on Princess. So that's where we were like, crap, we booked all these Royal cruises. And we had already, I think by that point, we had booked our 21-day Mediterranean on the Sun. We had booked our 2 weeks, 14 days on Sky. So we already had booked more Princess ones, but it just kind of helped solidify that. Anyway, So I kind of had narrowed it down to, yes, this is what I want. But I was still selling Royal. And this summer we went to Norway with Royal, and we went to the Caribbean with Royal. And with Royal, we were hoping that a smaller ship to a calmer, slower, different destination that was more like Alaska would be like, okay, it's not a Royal issue, it's a destination issue. No, it's a Royal issue. We had I have had probably the worst customer service on the Jewel of the Seas. And they had said during one of their talks that what they end up doing is the most experienced, best people, staff, get promoted over to ships like Icon. They kind of like push everyone up. And then they restock down at the lower end. So the people that are staying on are stuck training these new people, and yeah, it's just, yeah, it makes sense why they do it, because Royal sees Icon as a moneymaker, and that was something that we, that also kind of hit me during a captain's talk during, on Adventure of the Seas, which I was just on. The captain literally said that Icon makes way more money. Not only just because of the cost of the rooms, because there's rooms that are $100,000 per person, but because of bigger the ship, the more people, less expenses, because it's one ship still. So certain expenses don't increase. And I was just like, man. And Royal does have a smaller ship coming out, because they did talk about how the Icon probably will be their biggest class of ship, because of the fact that ports cannot support a ship that large, and a lot of ports are not willing to put in the infrastructure, which of course not. Like, why would you spend bazillions of dollars to build a port for one cruise line? Yeah, sure, other cruise lines are making big ships too, but still, like, I get why they're not really doing that. So anyway, Icon is really pushing the limits. It can't go to a lot of ports because it's too big. Even Oasis class is having issues. I think they said that, like, Utopia being Oasis class that's bigger, it has certain ports it can't go to. Even Galveston, which is a home port for Oasis class ships, there's certain things about it that are challenging. So anyway, they are making the Discovery class. They said 2029 it's coming out, and it's going to be a smaller ship again, which I've talked about this before, where I was like, they need to do something to replace the Jewel, the Radiance class, the Vision class, those smaller ships, in order to be able to maintain Alaska and Norway and those smaller ports, because hello, there's smaller ports need smaller ships, and then like Norway is not allowing non-LNG ships. So they are coming out with a Discovery class in 2029, and after hearing the way the captain said about like more people on a ship means more money for them, I was like, the Discovery class, even though it's gonna be a small ship, is going to be packed. They are going to find whatever way possible to fit as many people as possible on those ships. And I'm like, that's just not how we roll. We were looking at some, because we tend to look at guest capacity to determine like how big a ship is. But that's not how it actually works, because we were looking at some ships, comparing the Jewel to some princess ships and stuff, and it's like you have the same size ship but you have less passengers. Even the Sun Princess is almost the same size as almost the same size as the Oasis class, but like 2,000 less passengers. Yeah, we were just on the Adventure of the Seas and been on Navigator Seas. Those ships are very comparable to the Royal class of ships, but again, we had like 3,800 passengers. The Royal class has like 500 passengers less than that. Don't quote me on any of that. I'm literally just spitting out numbers from my memory, which is not always great, but it was just the point that like same size ship, fewer passengers, more space per passenger then, also more staff. The staffing ratios are way better on cruise lines like Princess. And so just getting me thinking about like not only the destinations I want to sell, but the types of products I want to sell and to who I want to sell them to. And I have clients that are very much excited for Icon, who are I don't want to say partiers. If you're watching this, I'm sorry. I doubt she's watching this. Anyway, they're kind of partiers. That's just who they are. And I will not get rid of these clients because they are my best clients in terms of commissions and the amount of work. So I already have talked to her and she's like, are you going to get rid of us? I'm like, no. I love you guys. But it's one of those things where that's not the experience I want to sell. That's not the experience I want to have. And I've struggled in the before about selling from my own wallet. I am very budget. I am very much like inside cabin, give me the best rate. But those people are not great for as a travel advisor. They're just not. I'm sorry if you're budget on here and you're like, oh, I want to use Michele as a travel advisor. No. It's just one of those things where at the end of the day, it comes between balance of how many clients can I take to make a certain amount of money. And I don't want to take you out because there's glass and stuff. Glass. I need to be able to make my business sustainable financially, but also in terms of my time and energy for my clients. And oh, you're gonna make noise. And here, let me find you something quieter. By having the rooms that people are currently purchasing from me is not sustainable in terms of my time and energy, because I need to scale up to make a business sustainable. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but basically I can take fewer clients and provide better service by taking out clients that can book on their own. Basically, if you're looking for an inside cabin for the best rate, I have links usually down below for Princess that you can book yourself. Or like there's other travel agents out there. You can go to Costco, CA, anything like that. There's other booking places if you want the best deals. But for me, it's like I want to provide the best service possible to my clients. And the best way to do that is to limit my cruise lines and limit my clientele. And so the exception for this will be group cruises. Group cruises probably won't change much because, oh, are you falling? I don't know how to get that one. Oh, are you okay? She bumped her head. I'm gonna get really close for a second here as I reach for a toy. Yeah, group cruises I will still sell interiors. Group cruises have a different vibe. Group cruises will always be on Princess and will have interiors available. And I will offer interiors. I currently don't have any interiors left on my Mexico cruise. You can still get an interior, but pricing. Anyway, I will offer interiors. I will also offer cruises for Americans outside of those outside of Canada. Whereas the business model I've now worked with, the coach to determine, is I will only be selling my cruises to Canadians, because the logistics of selling certain cruise lines outside of Canada is horrible. I don't even know the licensing laws for certain things. Like, I'm pretty sure if you're in Florida, I can't sell to you. Certain things like that. Also, I do charge a fee. I was charging a flat rate fee. I'm now charging, it depends on the cruise you're booking kind of fee, because obviously certain things, the more difficult and time consuming the work is, I should be compensated for that. And so, yeah. It's not all about money. It's legitimately about business. You wouldn't go to a hairdresser and expect them to do the work for free. You wouldn't expect them to do it based off of tips. You wouldn't expect them to do a 10-hour job for the same price as a 2-hour job. And just like any service, you have lawyers and doctors. Not that I say that I'm at the level of a lawyer or doctor, but I am trained. I have spent a lot of time and energy and money to be trained in the stuff that I'm trained in. And by limiting the cruise lines, I can also focus heavily on that. When it comes to time for me to renew my Carnival training, I am not renewing it. Same with Norwegian, same with Royal. I'm just choosing to not put my time and energy into cruise lines that I don't want to sell and don't see a purpose in selling. I am also focusing more on wellness. So not necessarily like fitness and nutrition wellness, but like mindfulness and those slower paced destination focused cruises, port heavy cruises in a way that you get to actually see the world, not just go to a private island. Like, I think back to our Oasis cruise where we went to Port Canaveral, we went to Nassau, which is consistently rated the worst cruise port ever, and we went to Perfect Day. That is not traveling the world. We spent the same amount for that as we could have went through Alaska. And like just those types of even the Icon, you are sailing for the ship, not for the destinations. Utopia only does like 3 and 4 day sailings. You are sailing for the fact that you're going, I think it goes to like Nassau and Perfect Day. You're sailing for the ship. You're not sailing for the destinations. And that is not what I want to do. I do not want to sell ships. I want to sell destinations, and I want to sell experiences. There's certain cruise lines that offer that way more. The guest to crew ratio, the space to guest ratio, the stuff that's included. Because like Royal Caribbean, I talked about it in a video that I posted recently where Princess updated their Princess Premier package to be $90 US per day instead of $80 US per day, but now it's including unlimited specialty dining. And so I had said in that video about Royal does a stupid thing, which is demand-based pricing. So what you pay for your beverage package on one cruise is different than what you will pay on another cruise, because it is completely demand-based. It's the same reason why their cabanas are now $1,400, $1,800 for one day. And when we went, it was miserable. I hope all those people that paid $1,400 for a cabana got their money back. But yeah, they do demand-based pricing. So, but their pricing for drink packages is insane. You're looking usually $130 to $150 per day per person for beverages. That's it. Whereas Princess Plus and Premier, Princess Plus is $60 per day for beverages up to $15, and gratuities, internet, all these other things. And then Princess Premier, which is $90, includes deluxe beverages up to $20, unlimited specialty dining, unlimited casual dining, unlimited digital photos, your gratuities. Anyway, it includes so much stuff. And so like for me, it's like, I want to give my clients that all-inclusive value of being like, you could pay less and get so much more. And even in terms of their cruises are significantly cheaper. Like you can stay in the most expensive room on like the Sun Princess and still be significantly cheaper than a lot of the rooms on Icon. Yeah, you need to stop throwing your toys. I'm not letting you out. So, you want juice? And so, anyway, and Princess gives service. Anyway, I'm just rambling, which is what I said I was gonna do. So, but basically, just trying to focus on those cruise lines that provide great experiences, more destination. I want clients who work really hard during the day, or they've worked hard and they're now retired, who are ready to relax, who want the pampering, who want the service. Maybe they do want to be fit and active during their cruise as well, but more that like, we get away from the stresses of life. That's why I travel. I travel because I work my butt off for 10 months a year, and I'm grateful that I have 2 months off a year as a teacher. But by the time I get to that 2 months, I need it. Well, I mean, that's why we're cruising more often this year, but then we're cutting back. But anyway, we work hard, and we want to reconnect with people and places and ourselves. And so cruising is a great time for me and my daughter. We bond so much because it's like one of the least stressful times of my year. And that's kind of the focus I want to have, is the getting back in nature, getting back to reconnect with ourselves, the relaxation, the pampering, all that kind of stuff. And so I purposely have chosen cruise lines to partner with that allow that. It means that I've had to do a bunch of training lately because some of those cruise lines I weren't really familiar with, but doing a lot of training, a lot of research and all that, because I'm off right now. I'm off until next week. And so, are you gonna throw this? And so I figured working with the travel agent coach and working with my preferences and who my align clients are and stuff like that now, working hard during this time while I have the time to be able to focus on doing a lot of training and research and all that stuff, because it's a lot. Like I am one who I won't sell things I don't know. There was once in one of our groups, someone had asked about selling cruises, and they were like, I've never been on a cruise. And it's like, please don't sell stuff you don't know. Please don't sell things that you don't have experience with. I am not selling beaches resort because I've never been to one. We might be going to one, but I'm still not going to sell it. We might be visiting one in the Jamaica one, but I haven't decided on that yet. But I'm not selling stuff that I don't know. And so, no, I have not been on all these cruise lines, and no, I will not always be on all these cruise lines, because that's just impossible. It's just not something that's feasible, especially when Princess is our best option for my daughter. Some of the lines that I want to sell are adult only. My daughter can't even go on them. So, but there's a difference between not going on certain lines and never been on a cruise before. It just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense to sell something that you've never been. I will not sell, I don't know, I've been to Disney, I know Disney, but yeah, like all inclusives, or even like Vegas or something like that. Like anyway, where was I going with this? So I am someone that wants to be an expert in it. I like ADHD hyperfocus plus maybe a little autism, I don't know. But I'd like to know all the things, because when I have a client come to me, I want to be able to spit out an answer. Almost any Princess question I can answer either instantly or within 10 minutes. Because if I don't know the answer, I know exactly where to look to find the answer. Because that's just, I know Princess very, very well. Princess Plus, Princess Premier. Some of the changes recently with the Sanctuary and Reserve collections I need to catch up on, but for the most part, I know these cruise lines very well. And that's why I want to limit my cruise lines, so that way I can become an expert in all of them. And I feel like I'm getting there with some lines, more so I'm just still needing to figure out what's included in which lines. Like Explora Journeys is one that I recently trained in, and Seaboard. And in my mind, I can visually tell the difference. Like if I saw a Seaboard ship versus an Explora Journeys ship, I know what itineraries, the differences in their itineraries and stuff like that. But if you ask me what's included in a Seaboard cruise, if that's not included in Explora Journeys one, I don't know that I could tell you that. Just because I just don't have enough research into it yet. But I mean, this is me doing their basic training. And Explora doesn't even have their full training out, they just have their foundations training. So a lot of stuff that I've learned about them has been my own research, reading, watching a bucket load of videos. I even sat down with my brother because I was like, okay, I really like Seabourn, I really like Explora, but there are two cruise lines that seem similar to me. Let's watch some videos and then tell me what you think. If I should sell both, if I only sell Explora, if I should only sell Seabourn, what should I do? And so we watched a ton of videos, and my brother was like, you need to sell both. Like there's enough differences between them and different vibes between them that it's worth selling both. So yeah, so it was just stuff like that where I just consumers of knowledge. That's what I do, and that's where I don't want to have a bunch of lines, because now like we're not sailing with Royal anymore. I am gonna delete all my Royal information yet, right? But I no longer need to keep up with that. Just like I never know what new, I don't know, celebrity ship is coming out. I just usually don't. I might hear in passing, or if I'm researching for a client, but now that I'm not doing it anymore, I don't need to focus on that. Norwegian, I know some of their ships, I know some stuff that certain classes, but I don't need to know that anymore. Same with Carnival. There's certain cruise lines that I can just like push to the side. I've also decided to go into river cruises. I had started doing Viking. I did all the Viking training when I became a travel agent, but I was just like, we're never gonna go on Viking anytime soon because my daughter's not 18. And then I'm like, I don't know that I want to sell river cruises because I don't know that I like that vibe. But when we were in Amsterdam and we saw the river cruises in person, I was like, I want to go on one. So then I was like, very much like, okay, what is an adult friendly or a child friendly line? And Ama Waterways is that one. And then Paradij, we watched a ton of their videos, and they were just on Riverside, I think it was. But comparing Ama and Riverside and Ama with Avalon, it just was like, I don't need all these lines. Let me focus on becoming an expert in one, because I don't need a bunch of different lines. So I pick the one that I like the most and focus on that, because having a line that is slightly different isn't enough for me to be able to be an expert. Be an expert in it. Oh no, she needs a tissue. Hold on. Yeah. Intermission, intermission, it is intermission time. And back. Anyway, yeah, I just want to be able to focus heavily on certain cruise lines that I believe in, that I feel like are good for my clients. And at first it was hard because it was like, okay, Explora, amazing cruise line, but it's something that's very much out of my price range. And so I said to my brother, I'm like, this is what I tried to sell like Viking and stuff before, but it's hard when I can't sell things that I wouldn't pay for. And it very much now is very much the training that I've been doing about not selling from your wallet, which if you're a travel agent watching this, go check out Marcy. Anyway, not selling from my own wallet, just because I wouldn't pay for something doesn't mean anyone else will. Look at the icon. I would not pay $100,000 per person for a week in the family suite, but people are doing it. On the cruise we were just at, my friend is very much into shopping, and I was trying to do a little bit different stuff on this last cruise. And so my friend did some shopping seminar things, and people were buying like $10,000, $20,000 jewelry pieces. And I was like, oh my gosh, people will spend money on things. Viking is a pricey ship. They are a pricey cruise line, but they are not going out of business anytime soon. Icon is ridiculously expensive and consistently selling out. I would not pay $1,300 for a cabana, but people are. So just trying to shift my mindset to making sure that like I'm selling products that have value. And my brother was very much like, stop thinking about what you would do and think about what you would do if money was not an object. Which cruise lines would you want to sail on? Which cruise lines would you want that experience for? And it's like, even if I was a bazillionaire, I am not going in that family suite on the Icon. Even if Royal came along and was like, Michelle, here's a free 1-week cruise on the Icon, I don't know that I would take it. I probably would say something like, can you put me on a smaller ship? So that's where it kind of played a big role in what I was deciding to end up selling. Very much like which cruise lines, what experiences, what ships. Emirates, stop please. Mama will be done in a minute. Let me finish my rambling. What I would personally want to experience myself. If I was given, if money was not in the picture, which cruise lines would I want to do? So that's where very much like Explora Journeys, Seabourn, Viking, Ama, Princess, obviously I'm going to still sell Princess. Princess will be like the only premium line I'm selling. And then Ama and Viking are luxury river cruises. And what else am I selling? Explora is a luxury ocean cruise. A Viking also does luxury ocean cruises as well. They also do expeditions. Seabourn does ultra luxury expeditions and ocean. Their ratios are insane. Like I was looking at something for my Facebook group about like sizes of ships versus passengers, and it's like, here's this Holland America ship that has 1,400 passengers and this ship has 400 passengers. Like, anyway, so yeah, I think that's, and Virgin Voyages for an adult only, more upscale partier vibe. They're for select clients. Yeah, so that's a lot of ramblings, and it probably made zero sense to anyone that is not a travel advisor, or even a lot of you probably don't care. My retention rates, I know, my retention rates on lives are not great because I ramble. But yeah, basically, there's going to be some changes. I will be focusing still on Princess on my channel, but I want to toss in some wellness stuff. I want to toss in some information about some of the other lines I'm selling, because I want to use this as a way to educate, with hopes of bringing some people, some Canadians, if you're a Canadian watching this and you got this far and you're like, oh, I've always been interested in a luxury cruise to, I don't know, Alaska. or expedition to Antarctica. I really want to do an expedition to Antarctica, and I'm Canadian. Facebook groups in the description, but just wanted to talk about a little bit about it because things are going to be shifting a little bit on the channel. Princess is still 100% my focus, but maybe not 100%. Like 90% of my focus will still be on Princess. We will be cruising almost exclusively with Princess unless I end up doing some business trips on some other lines, but Princess will still be the main thing with some smattering in of some other lines just to give some people some information about it. But yeah, anyway, my daughter really wants out of her high chair, but the table has food all over it and she's gonna make a mess. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in Princess stuff, if you're interested in wellness focus stuff, destination focus stuff. I want to do some port guides on here as well, about the ports that we've been to, but like I said, editing. Anyway, bye guys, have a great weekend. And if you watched all this way and you want something next, let me know what you want me to talk about. Bye-bye.